Grand Rising and welcome to another segment of CLG View Point. I'm Cindy Lorraine Grais, and it is such an honor to have you here today for another segment number 42. Well, today is Friday, TGIF, March the 21st, 2025. Today we will be covering the top 5 DIY ways to baby-proof your home. International news, 1,000 protest arrest of Istanbul mayor. On the local news, Victoria Public Market closing down and making way for grocery store. Fishing industry navigating uncertain waters because of tariffs. Island Health warns of serious risks from button batteries, launches safety survey for children. People are buying local U.S. produce, floods, Nanaimo Food Bank. Well, each segment, I like to start with a sage clearing. I have a sage stick here. It's a herb, and it clears all low energy entities and sends them back to their perfect place. So start each segment in a positive atmosphere of divine light and divine love. To all you low entities, you are healed and sent back to your perfect place with my spiritual guides, and so it is. On to our video, baby proofing our
home. And today I'm here to talk to you about my top 5 DIY ways to baby-proof your home. My wife and I had a baby about 10 months ago, and he's recently started to get really mobile, which means he's getting into everything. So as I'm currently in the process of baby-proofing my entire house, I thought I'd share some of the things I've found that are most important when baby-proofing your home. Number 5 is to utilize electrical covers and secure cabinets. Electrical outlets and cabinet doors are well within a crawling or walking infant's reach. Babies are seemingly attracted to everything they shouldn't be, including electrical outlets. Cabinet doors are also another huge risk for trouble. That's where outlet covers and cabinet door latches come in. Plastic outlet plugs are cheap and easy protection that are inserted into the wall that can be unplugged when you need to use them. I bought this 36-pack on Amazon for $2.99. There are a ton of options for cabinet door latches, including magnetic release, push to open, or cabinet door straps like these ones, which attach to the face with peel and stick tape. If you don't want to spend the money on latches and want to secure cabinets you hardly ever use, you can always just add a zip tie around the door pulls to keep them closed. It's obviously not a great solution if you need to get into cabinets all the time, but if you're not using the cabinet, you just want to keep it closed, it's a great easy fix. Number 4 is to cover sharp corners. Toddlers seem to have a magnet in their head that is attracted to sharp corners like the edges of a coffee table or a fireplace hearth. Go around your house and look for head height areas that could potentially be dangerous for your child if they smack their head on it. I installed a bunch of these rubber peel and stick corner guards I picked up on Amazon for 12 bucks. You could also cut up a pool noodle as a cheap alternative for covering sharp corners. Number 3 is to make contained play areas. Baby gates and containment areas are essential for making sure your new little moving machine doesn't end up where they're not supposed to be the second you take your eye off them. Create dedicated play areas where you can put your toddler that you know are baby safe. Adding play mats or carpet are great if you have hardwood or other hard flooring in the area. Obviously, you still want to keep a close eye on them, but having a dedicated play area can allow you to not have to chase them around the house a little bit. Number 2 is to safely secure firearms and weapons. If you keep firearms or other weapons in the house, it is crucial to keep them properly locked up. Accidents can happen in a split second that can have devastating consequences on a family. Secure safes are essential, and keeping a weapon out of someone else's hands is your responsibility as the owner. And number 1 is to keep valuable or dangerous household items out of reach. One of the simplest things to do that often doesn't cost a cent is to store anything that could be broken or pose a threat to the baby completely out of their reach. These items can include cleaning products, chemicals, tools, kitchen utensils, and so on. Find a secure area like a high shelf or in the garage, or even a latching cabinet that you can place dangerous items up and out of reach of your curious toddler who just wants to touch everything and put it in their mouth. Baby proofing is relatively quick and inexpensive, but it's something that any new parent has to do. Most of the items I've talked about can be picked up online or at any hardware store, and sometimes they even come bundled into baby proofing sets that combine several types of things for even more savings.
Yeah, it's really important to baby proof your home. And even, grandparents have to do that sometimes too, because I have grandchildren. Now, on to thousands protest arrest of Istanbul mayor. RT News, March the 20th, 2025. Akram Imamoglu had been detained on charges of corruption and alleged terror links. Thousands of people took to the streets of Istanbul on Wednesday to decry the arrest of the city's mayor, Akram Imamoglu, who is viewed as the main political rival to Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan in elections scheduled for 2028. Imamoglu, one of the key figures in the opposition Republican People's Party, was among 100 people detained earlier in the day on charges of corruption and alleged links to the Kurdistan Workers' Party, PKK, which is considered a terrorist organization by Ankara. The mayor was taken into custody just days before his official nomination as CHP's presidential candidate. Following Imamoglu's arrest, the Turkish authorities imposed a 4-day ban on demonstrations, closed down several roads in Istanbul, and put restrictions on social media platforms. However, it did not prevent protesters from taking to the streets, as huge crowds gathered inside and outside Istanbul's police headquarters, City Hall, the main office of the Republican People's Party, and other locations. And our first video. The demonstrators carried Turkish national flags and portraits of Akram chanting anti-government slogans and demanding the mayor's release. "We came here to support the mayor. They arrested him unjustly," one of the people in the crowd told Reuters. Another demonstrator complained to AFP that "we are living in a dictatorship." There have been reports of minor clashes between the protesters and the riot police, with Reuters publishing a video showing the officers using pepper spray to disperse a crowd outside Istanbul University. Imam Goyle wrote in a post on X before his arrest that the will of the people cannot be silenced through intimidation or unlawful acts, vowing to continue to fight for fundamental rights and freedom. During a press conference, CHP's leader, Oscar Ozel, called the mayor's detention a coup and accused Erdogan of being afraid to lose to İmamoğlu in the election. Turkish Justice Minister Yilmaz Tunç said later that Özel's comments were extremely dangerous and incorrect. The country's justice system is impartial and independent, and because of this, linking investigations and cases initiated by the judiciary to our president is, at best, presumptuous and inappropriate, the minister insisted. My personal thoughts. Under natural law, if there has been an illegal and unjustly arrest of Ekrem İmamoğlu, the political officials will be held accountable under natural law. Local news. Victoria Public Market closing down and making way for grocery store. Check News, written by Adam Chan. March 20, 2025. The Victoria Public Market, located in the Hudson Building at the corner of Douglas and Fiskard Streets, is closing down after more than a decade. The owner of the space, Townline, says the indoor market will be replaced by a full-service, urban format Canadian grocery store in early 2026. In the meantime, vendors currently at the market have been given up to 6 months to move out, Townline said Thursday. When Townline opened Victoria Public Market 12 years ago, we were excited to welcome residents, neighbors, and tourists to what would become a special place for many, said the company. Unfortunately, like countless businesses, our tenants felt the impacts of the global pandemic. Townline says that more than half of its vendor spaces are currently vacant, with 11 sitting empty and 7 being occupied. Given these realities, and after careful deliberation, we have decided to repurpose the space at Townline. The company says it plans to release the name of the incoming grocery store at a later date. Looking ahead, there may be some space available at Hudson's District, which we will explore offering to current tenants and other retailers in the future, said Townline. The news comes just months after a shared commercial kitchen space called the Coho Commissionary, which occupied a vendor spot in the Victoria Public Market, abruptly shut down, leaving businesses scrambling to find a new space. Cafe Malabar was one of the businesses affected. The South Indian restaurant was named one of Air Canada's top 10 new restaurants in the country in 2024. Cafe Malabar has since secured a new space at the former Tug Eatery location along Victoria's Inner Harbor. Just blocks away, another landmark, Victoria Business, is also facing what could be its final days. The Hudson's Bay location at the Bay Center in downtown Victoria is offering discounts after the Hudson's Bay Company filed for creditor protection earlier this month, with a judge now mulling the company's liquidation plan that could see some locations stay open. And on to the video.
Spaces then rented businesses at the Victoria Public Market. The remaining handful of vendors have been asked to meet the building's owner at 10 a.m. for what a vendor told us was an emergency meeting. It's why we showed up.
We haven't been told anything.
But Check News learned in an email sent Tuesday morning that the market is closing. As they wait for Townline to arrive, vendors ask what we know. The owner of Whisk Victoria, a lawn cable, reads aloud the email to her colleagues.
Today, only 7 spaces are occupied while 11 sit empty. Given these realities and after careful deliberation, we've decided to repurpose the space. To do so, we have informed our current market tenants that we will soon cease operations of Victoria Public Market.
They have up to 180 days to vacate the market. This is their eviction notice.
I find that extremely disrespectful, actually, that they did not tell us first to keep us in the open loop of communication before they went to the media. That is incredibly disrespectful.
The vendors say they've been trying for months to get information about the future of the market. Nami Moalan even met late last year with Townline representatives.
I said that if there is a rumor has been going on around, and making everybody nervous, that there is a grocery store is supposed to open up here and we are supposed to leave, I said, I don't know anything about it.
Eventually, the Townline employees show up to speak with the vendors, and they don't want an audience.
They don't want to do it with you here. We'd like you to leave this property.
That's fine. Marianne Carmack is an original tenant opening roast 12 years ago on opening day. She understands how her fellow vendors are feeling.
That must have hit hard. I knew it was coming. Townline didn't officially tell me, but there were some rumors out there that I confirmed the day ahead of time. So I was not unaware.
An unnamed grocery store is going to be the new anchor tenant.
Obviously, we're incredibly grateful for those partners that have been with us for a number of years, and wish for their sake that we were able to attract other operators that would create a market that was as vibrant as we originally envisioned it was, and as it was in the early years. But we were not able to do that.
This means my business that I started with my son, who is now 18 in 2021, will be forced to close in a month.
Townline expects the new store to open its doors in early 2026.
My personal thoughts. Could this full-service urban format Canadian grocery store, could it be the grocery store, the free grocery store, under natural law? Something to research. CTV News, March the 20th, 2025. Fishing industry navigating uncertain waters because of tariffs. Canada's fishing industry says tariffs by China and the U.S. could be a double punch they are unlikely to be able to absorb. Paul Hollingsworth has more.
In Eastern Passage, Nova Scotia, a 25% tariff by China on Canada's seafood exports is the first blow in a devastating double punch. Another 25% U.S. imposed tariff could slam the Canadian seafood industry on April 2nd. People who make their living at sea say uncertainty and fear are on the rise.
So if they can't pass that on to their customers on the other end, they can't absorb it themselves, right? Then that leaves, me, the harvester, to absorb this.
China is Canada's second largest seafood export market after the US. The search is on to find new global markets to sell seafood before costs are passed on to Canadian consumers.
Because that's ultimately what it means, whether they pay the tariffs or our exporters pay the tariffs. There's 25% more in costs.
There are many unknowns about how these tariffs could impact other aspects of the industry. Boat builders, processing plants, equipment manufacturers, and restaurants, to name a few, could all take a major hit.
What does that do to those companies? You know, does that put them in a position where they have to temporarily lay off staff?
Industry leaders expect the tariffs to trigger seafood price increases by late spring, and they could be long-term. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Eastern Passage, Nova Scotia.
Personal thoughts. Would it be feasible for the Canadian fishing industry to sell their product within our country, the majority of the product? Keeping the fishing and seafood in Canada under natural law, selling 75% of the product within Canada and 25% exported outside of Canada. What's your thoughts? Something to check into. Island Health warns of serious risks from button batteries, launches safety survey. CTV News, written by Jeff Lawrence, March 17, 2025. Island Health is urging parents and caregivers to be aware of the dangers posed by button batteries, especially young children, and has launched a survey to boost awareness and shape future safety regulations. Island Health and the BC Injury Research and Prevention Unit, BCIRPU, have created a short online survey to better understand public awareness about button battery hazards. The survey coincides with National Poison Prevention Week, March the 16th to the 22nd. The health authority says button batteries, also known as disc, flat, or coin batteries, are found in everyday items such as toothbrushes, watches, toys, bathroom scales, hearing aids, and key fobs. If swallowed or inserted into the body, even dead button batteries can cause life-threatening chemical burns in as little as 2 hours. Button batteries can be found everywhere and are commonly in giveaway, promotional, or charity products, and in toys in children's party bags, said Neil Arison, an injury prevention specialist with Island Health. Because button batteries are so small, they are most commonly ingested through the mouth and swallowed, but they can also be inserted into the nose, ears, or other parts of the body. Island Health says an average of 20 people per year have been treated in emergency departments across the region for button battery injuries in the last 9 years. Most for children under 4 years old who required urgent medical care. The online survey, which takes fewer than 5 minutes to complete, is designed to gauge public knowledge about these risks, Island Health says. Responses will help shape provincial and national safety advocacy efforts and influence product safety regulations. Island Health recommends that caregivers of children reduce the number of items in their homes containing button batteries and ensure battery compartments are secured with tools like screwdrivers. New and used batteries should be kept out of kids' reach, ideally in a locked cabinet. Personal thoughts. Parents and caregivers should do a thorough search of their home for any items that a young child could reach that could harm that child and should be removed immediately. Safety first when it comes to our VIPs, our children. People are buying up local U.S. produce floods Nanaimo food bank. Check news written by Sky Ryan, March 19, 2025. Donations of U.S. fruits and vegetables are pouring in to Nanaimo's Loaves and Fishes food bank from island grocery stores that are unable to sell them even at reduced prices. Dan Van Domseller works in the food bank's food recovery program and told Czech News he has never seen anything like it before. It's everything: mushrooms, peppers, kiwis, lots of oranges, lots of stuff coming from California. We're seeing an
Donations of U.S. fruits and vegetables from island grocery stores that couldn't sell them are pouring into Nanaimo's Loaves and Fishes food bank on a scale that this food recovery program's Dan Van Domselaar has never seen before.
It's everything. So we're seeing mushrooms, cucumbers, peppers, kiwis, lots of oranges, lots of stuff coming from California.
Volunteer Don Mosley is sorting through what can be saved of it to feed the 10,000 clients this food bank serves each month, and says he's proud to see firsthand how many of us are avoiding buying American since the start of the trade war.
And it's definitely unified Canada and brought us all together. We're all on the same page on how we're going to deal with this moving forward.
It is telling me people are buying local or at least made in BC.
But this windfall of American produce may have a best before date as grocery stores reduce their orders for American goods due to changing customer demand, or like Victoria's urban grocer attempt to cut out American produce altogether.
But it's worth it. We know it's worth it. Be surprised what you can find. Other countries produce produce as well.
Supply chains are very tight, and as consumers change their decisions, which they clearly have done with this tariff war, we weren't surprised at all to start seeing more American produce coming in.
According to Sinclair, at the height of the donations, up to 500 kilograms more of American produce was coming into this Nanaimo warehouse each day. And while that is beginning to level off, all of it is going out just as quickly to people who need it.
It's good to see that the food's not going to waste.
So we're turning food out usually within 24 hours. And so when we see an increase in produce coming in, we respond immediately and get that food right back out.
One silver lining to this storm of a tariff war, as Canadians put their money where their patriotism is and put Canada first in their cards.
personal thoughts. Could this be the catalyst for the free grocery stores for people of need under natural law? I am Cindy Lorraine Grais of CLG View Point, and I thank you for being here with me today. It's been a tremendous honor. If you feel compelled to, please share this forum with others. Today I present Native American wisdom. Have a truly wonderful, wonderful day, and see you on Monday. Until we meet again, enjoy. Have a lovely weekend.